Okay, today we are going to try to cut out the last sections of the deck and put the spar urethane on it. Maybe it'll dry in time to do the carpet. If not, we'll get that done tomorrow. We detailed the motor and we're waiting for all the hardware to get in. Alright, so we painted the lower part of the boat right there. We were going to carpet up the walls, but it seemed like it would be too difficult to make everything even. And we're running out of the carpet. So, had extra paint, made it all nice and even. Got all the measurements for the carpets in the front and back. Just got to run to the store and then we can put those together.
Alright, so the plan now is we're going to go ahead and throw the carpet here and there as well before we finish carpeting the rest of the deck, that back one, and then this little front piece that goes on top here. Once we have that done, we'll go ahead and secure the rest of the decks, get everything boxed in, and start working on some hardware for our hatches. Alright, so we got the carpet done. All the deck pieces and all the panel pieces, hatches are finished. We've got everything dry mocked, I guess mocked up in here right now. I like the way it looks, so all we got to do is secure this stuff now, and then the next step will be putting in hinges and whatnot. And we're done. So the decks are completely secured down and it's looking pretty good, I must say. We need to do the hatches still. There's something I wanted to point out with the hatches. So when you're measuring and cutting for your decks, if you're doing hatches, one thing to keep in mind that you need to leave space for the carpet when you add it to it. So I'll generally add 1/4 inch to each edge for carpet. So when I cut out this deck right here, or this hatch, I left a 1/2 inch gap. And on top of that, I actually ended up leaving an extra 1/4 inch because we're putting hinges in here. So this actually has a 3/4 inch gap. This edge right here, since there's no hinge, that has a 1/2 inch gap, and that just makes up for that room of the carpet, because as you can see, this kind of fits just perfectly on this edge. Alright, so now we've got to do, we've got to cut out a little hole here for our pedestal seat. Alright, so it's actually getting pretty late out here, so we're going to call it quits for the day. But we did everything that we wanted to, with the exception of getting the hinges on the hatches, which we can do tomorrow or the day after. But we got all the decks secured, all the carpet done. We even got this pedestal mount installed. like I said, for the lazy fisherman. I've actually never owned one of these on any of my bass boats before that I've built, so I know it's a pretty standard upgrade for most people, but for me, this is luxury. So we'll finish it next day. Alright, today we are going to put the hinges on our hatches. We've got our piano hinges here, which are, I would like to say I planned it out this way to have them to be the perfect length, but I didn't. Basically, they're going to sit down in here like such. To secure them, what I'm going to do first, well, these piano hinges, one are stainless steel, but the first thing, they come with these screws here. These screws are a little bit short, especially going into the edge of plywood, which can be a little bit soft. Just went out and bought some longer screws, which I'm going to use instead. Alright, so just did the last thing we plan on doing today because it's getting late and the mosquitoes are tearing us up. We've got our anchor light on here. Earlier we put our gas struts on our hatches. Also got the hinges on there. So right now the hatches, the decks are completely done. It's always convenient, so if you're throwing stuff in here, you don't have to worry about fighting the lid falling down. We actually got these struts off of Amazon. They were really cheap. I think they're made in China, but these are both 20 Newton struts. It was a pain, to be honest with you, finding the right spot to put it, because me being me, I'm used to doing things myself. I didn't read any manuals on how far you're supposed to set them apart, so it was actually a little bit of trial and error. But right now they're working good. I'm happy with it. That's it for today. We'll see you next time.